Alright, so we're going to talk about how to write an equation in slope-intercept form given 2 points that a line goes through. Now, in order to get it in slope-intercept form, I need to find two things. I need to find slope, which we write m, and the y-intercept, which we call b. And slope-intercept form is the form y equals mx plus b. Alright, so now we've got 2 points here, and is one of them my y-intercept? Well, let's see. My y-intercept happens, I have a y value when x is 0, so this is my x-intercept here. So I don't have a y-intercept right now, but I have 2 points and I can find the slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the difference of the y values over the difference of the x values, which is rise over run. And I'm going to pick a point to be y2, x2, y2, and a point to be x1, y1. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, and I'm going to call this x2, y2. So now my y2 is 0. I'm going to go 0 minus my y1, which is 5. And then on the bottom, x2 minus x1. So x2 is 3 minus x1 is negative 7. So minus a negative 7, when you take away something bad, that's good. So when you subtract a negative, that turns into a positive. So what we have for our slope is 0 minus 5 is negative 5. 3 plus 7 is 10. And this reduces because we got 5 over 10. 5 goes into both of them. So if I think about this as negative 1 times 5 to get negative 5, and 2 times 5 to get 10, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So these divide out. They divide to 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. So my slope is, I got a negative divided by a positive, so my slope is a negative 1/2. So I got my slope is negative 1/2. Okay, so if I have a formula for the equation of a line, it works for every point on the line. I can plug in for x and y value for every point on that line. And I got 2 points right here that I know are on this line. So what I can do is, now that I know m, I know an x value and a y value, that means I can find b. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these points. I'm going to pick this one because it's easier to plug in a 3 and a 0 than a negative 7 and a 5. So I'm going to plug in my slope and one of these points into the slope-intercept equation to find out what b is. So I'm going to pick my y value to be 0. So 0 equals m is negative 1/2 times x, and my x value for this point is 3, plus b, and I don't know what b is yet, but I'm going to find out. Negative 1/2 times 3, this is 3 over 1, and when we multiply fractions, it's top times top, bottom times bottom. So this is going to be negative 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, plus b. And then to get b by itself, I just need to add 3 over 2 to each side of the equation. Negative 3/2 plus 3/2 adds to 0. And 0 plus b is b. And then 0 plus 3 over 2 is 3 over 2. So now I know that my b value is 3 over 2, and I can write the slope-intercept form as y equals mx plus b. So my m was negative 1/2, x plus 3 over 2. So when we had 2 points and we want to find the slope-intercept form, we use the slope formula with those 2 points to find the slope. Then we plug the slope in for m, and we pick one of these points to plug in for the x and y value so that we can solve for b to find out what b is. Once we know what m and b are, the slope-intercept equation is just y equals mx plus b with our slope substituted in for m and our y-intercept value substituted in for b.